in this article, they try to say, we need to do something about this. And in the same article, they talk about they mention what's been done. Reddit has taken down the adrenochrome subreddit, shut it down from happening completely. YouTube is erasing people's videos on it. And then this article has the audacity to say, and proponents of the theory are claiming that there's censorship. Well, shitball fucks, bro, in your own fucking article, Brian, you fucking you talked about them censoring it in your own goddamn article. Two paragraphs up, you talked about motherfuckers censoring shit. I'm not a proponent of this theory, and it's very obvious that you're fucking censoring it. I don't even need to believe in this theory to know it. You said it, Brian. Brysky, broha, shit for brains, you even said it in your own fucking article, bro. And then have the audacity to say that later on in the article, people claim. No, you are. You even gave us the evidence of it, dude. Like, that's so crazy, And so in this article, it's taken it to the point where it's trying to make this an instance of this horrific hidden virality thing that is supposedly the death of the modern world almost, right? So, in going about how it needs to be further censored. All I'm saying is when you take these articles at face value, just these 3 articles that I read, okay, which for the record, I added these 3 articles because they were actually the most what's the word? Well, we had 4 articles there, but they were the most, well structured. A lot of the other articles, I mean, they just said the same thing. A lot of these articles I just picked kind of randomly because other articles I found said the same fucking thing. Okay. The reality is, this is why people still believe it. All that long speech was to get to this point. This is my main overarching point. People still believe in this conspiracy theory, regardless, I don't think that's a word or it's used improperly, regardless of the fact that there is no evidence that they can find for this theory, they still believe in it. Because you stupid fucking journalists, and the way you write your crappy articles, makes people convinced that it is a thing that you are trying to hide. You guys are connecting it with no evidence to anti-Semitism, and in some cases incorrectly attributing it to QAnon. Okay? You're making it a whole poster child for this hidden virality movement that is a theory, not proof. I want to illustrate that point too. You have 0 fucking evidence that this is actually a thing. The evidence you show is the spike in adrenochrome searches during 2020, where there was a spike in every search in 2020. So that's completely not evidence. Your evidence is horseshit. It's a fucking fart in the wind. It's nothing. Yeah? You see? So your whole article is shite. In some cases, your articles are filled with inaccurate information because you guys aren't investigative journalists. You're just dudes that sit and write. And in some cases, like Mr. Caleb here, this fuckhead, he just copied Brian's article, And people look at your articles, they're they're complete copies of each other. They're all accusing people who believe in this conspiracy theory of being QAnon members. You're, in this article, pushing for censorship and then pretending like you're not. Like it's crazy for people to show that you and the media are pushing for censorship of this topic. It looks funky, Brian. That's all I'm saying. You got some shit on your shoes. Something smells a little funky. Check your shoes. That's all I'm saying, dude. This looks from the outside looking in fishy as fuck. Okay, now I don't think it is. I think Caleb is a dirty little fucking plagiarizer and a shit journalist. I think the other person who wrote that other article is equally a shit journalist that said numerous falsities, as did you, and a couple times. You said some correct things in this article, Brian. Good job for that. Golf clap for Brian. Okay, good job. But you also said some shit that was false. Okay, you have incorrect information in your own article, and then you're connecting it to a reason why people should not be allowed to talk and discuss about this topic on social media. You give us instances of social media censoring it, and then have the audacity to pretend like they're not later on in the article. And this all seems so fucking fishy. Anybody who already slightly believes in this, you are the reason they continue to believe in it, Brian. I want you to know that. Okay. It is you being such a shitty journalist who's so amped up about censorship, who's so freaked out by this topic that you are connecting it to anti-Semitism, QAnon, Pizzagate, fucking kidnapping little baby puppies, whatever you can think of, right? Clubbing baby seals. I'm surprised you didn't throw that one in there. All them dirty baby seal clubbers believe in this shit too, you fuckers. I'm surprised you didn't mention that, Brian. You're full of shit, dude. And you're full of shit is obvious to see. You're up to your eyes in shit, as are all of you journalists who are discussing these things. 90% of these topics out here, you journalists suck at your jobs. And because you suck at your jobs, you write articles attempting to disprove conspiracy theories, and what you end up doing is giving people more ammo to believe that it's true. And you, Brian, are helping this cabal of elites cover it all up. And I don't think that's the case. I don't think the elites give a fuck who you are, Brian. I don't think you're important, Brian. I don't think you have enough monies for anybody to give a fuck about you, Brian. But other people think that you are a part of this, okay? I don't think you are. I think you just suck at your job and you needed to get a new job. But other people are going to assume that you are a part of this. And because you write these crap articles that are wrong, that have incorrect information, that are incorrectly and without evidence connecting these theories to all these horrible movements, and you're trying so hard to request censorship of people who are having the conversation and shame them to not having the conversation anymore. And because you're all copying each other all over the internet, all you journalists keep plagiarizing each other. What are people supposed to think? What would you fucking think, Brian? That's all I got to say. So that's my reason for this. That's my what I think the important takeaway is of this whole conspiracy theory is I can't find evidence that it's actually true. Any evidence, let alone proof. I can't find evidence that's true. I can find evidence of where certain ideas in the conspiracy theory come from. And I could present them to you and say, well, this might be how the conspiracy theory came from. But ultimately, that means that the conspiracy theory isn't true. It came from these different areas, right? But I have no evidence that it's true. Just evidence of where these ideas might have came from and gotten mishmashed together into this amalgamation, this fucking Frankenstein-ass conspiracy theory. You know, I can show you the evolution of this conspiracy theory. And I did all that. But when it comes to the people who are disproving this conspiracy theory, they do such a piss poor job of doing so. And in themselves are a bunch of fucking liars and plagiarizers and buttheads. Little fucking butt wipes, Brian, you butt wipe. I'm going to call you butt wipe Brian now every time I read your article because you piss me off. That, you know, it ignites the flames more. People believe in it more because of your sucky ass article. So, Brian, tisk tisk, as my girlfriend would say. Tisk tisk, Brian. Don't be such a douche.